Yes,
and
please.
Avatar
और
Meher
मेरे
Baba
बाबा
ki
Baba
की
ki
जय।
Jai.
Avatar
और
Har
Meher
मेरे
Meher
Baba
बाबा
ki
की
Baba
jai.
ki
जय।
Jai.
Avatar
अवतार
Meher
Avatar
मेरे
Baba ki
Meher
बाबा
jai.
Baba
की
ki Jai.
जय।
Thank you, Jai Baba. Pratap ji, over to you.
Now, thank you so much. Now we are approaching the mode of Amar Tithi, and we have about 3 weeks, I think, before we go for Amar Tithi. Last week I may not be able to take up. Anyway, that time I will inform. Now today, what I intend to do is that when I was every time it happens that when I think of presenting some topic, and at the 11th hour, I'm tempted to pick up some other thought which comes to my mind very strongly, and then I talk on that. This time also, I had a mind to tell you some of the incidents from my stay in Mumbai, especially my connection, my association with the Bombay Center. But then something has reminded me of two incidents. One is that today is the day on which Ramju Bhai, Ramju Abdullah, he joined Baba, he emerged in Baba. That was in the year 1967. And also Ansari has joined Baba on the same day. So I have something to say about those times. Especially, I will recollect or recall the memories of Mansari. I think some of you must have read about it because I was in Mumbai during that time. I had heard about this particular incident, which is I am going to read it out to you because it's a beautiful incident. And I should not miss any point in that, so that I prefer to read it out. Yes. Now, Mansari says, fragrance on the hill. Some of you must have read it about it, but we will have a recall of that incident. It was on 5th of August 1969. It was on 5th of August 1969 that Dr. Donkin came to Mehrabad to visit the boss, as he always called Baba. We also used to call him Big Boss. The doctor used to call the boss. After spending time in the Samadhi, he came and talked with me for about 2 hours on this and that, again went to Baba and then left. He looked so completely well and healthy that day. The next morning when I got up, I was already 10 minutes late. As we know that Mansi had the duty of opening the Samadhi just for the people to take part in cleaning of it and then open it for Baba's darshan. So she used to attend this duty every day. The next morning when I got up, I was already 10 minutes late. I took my bath quickly and got ready to go to Baba. I had a strong feeling of urgency inside me. Something said, come quickly, come soon. It was not like a physical sound. I said to myself, yes, Baba, I know I am 10 minutes late. And I took a lantern and hurried across. I do not take my glasses when I go in the morning to Baba, but that morning I took a lantern. Although it was not very dark, I came to the doors of Baba's Samadhi and lifted the lantern. Even when the doors are closed and locked, they do not exactly meet. There is a crack or a slit between them. When you are standing at the doors, you can see a little bit inside, just in front of this crack. As I raised the lantern, I caught a flash of something white moving by that crack. I repeat, as I raised the lantern, I caught a flash of something white moving by the crack, like a white sadra. Just the hem, I could not see any feet. I said, "Oh Baba, will I find you sitting there or standing or what?" I undid the and I undid the lock and opened the doors. Nothing was there, just the crypt with its earth and the platform round it. At that time, of course, the marble was not there, just the earth in the crypt, which was level with the platform. We kept a heavy sheet over the earth because at first the people coming would take a pinch of earth to put on their foreheads. But then they began to take some away, and we would not know where it would go or how it will be used. So we covered the earth with a sheet. And to stop them lifting this up, I used to put a pile of incense ash at the foot. But I went in that morning, I saw there was a hollow. The sheet was depressed just over Baba's feet, exactly where we put our heads when we bow down over the marble. And the top part of the sheet over Baba had been moved. It looked as though it had been pushed aside, just as a bed looks when one gets out of it in a hurry. And the pile of incense ash was put to one side carefully. I thought, could someone have come in? But how could they get in? I went quickly up onto the platform and looked at the windows. They were all securely closed and the door had been locked. I said I must go for my glasses and make sure I am seeing it all properly. So I closed the door and hurried to get them. Yes, that depression in the earth was there under the sheet, but no one could have got into the samadhi. It had been properly locked. What had happened? What to do? I called the watchman, the old man who was there then, and asked him had he seen or heard anything in the night. But he had seen no one and had not heard anything. I sent him hurrying down the hill to find Padri to ask him to come immediately. I wanted someone to see it all before anyone else came, and Padri was the best one to see it with me, and he was also a trustee. So I lashed the doors again and paced up and down, waiting. The boy came to me and said Padri was taking his bath and that he would come soon. I sent him down the hill again. Tell Padri that Mansari says come immediately, it is very important. After a few minutes, Padri came and I opened the doors and we went in. What could cause this? I asked him. Termites, he said, but I knew it could not be so. No ants would be disturbing that earth. Now that the two of us had seen, if we If seen it, we agreed we should restore it to normal. Padri was on the platform at the head side, and I was at the foot, where the steps which led down into the crypt used to be. The spot where we all now come to bow down to Baba. Together we worked, and as I leaned over the earth, a wonderful fragrance came up to me. So sweet, so beautiful it was. I kept quiet. Was it really there? Then Padri came down from the platform and I watched him. Suddenly he said, "Did you put perfume? Perfume?" No. He looked at me. Did you smell it? Yes. He stood there for a moment. Keep the windows closed. Don't put any flowers. Let us see who are the lucky ones today. He went out, and by 10 a.m., people were coming up the hill. All that day and the next, they came. That old man, the watchman, had been telling his story, and it had gone on from one to another in the Arangao, had spread like a fire to Ahmednagar and to other places. Just a
Beautiful
minute.
story there. Thank you, Pratap ji. Lovely
It's
story. Yeah.
a wonderful, wonderful. I had heard about it, not so any detail. You see, we
Hmm.
have very detail. Yes, he went out. Yes, that old man, the watchman, had been telling his story, and it had gone on and from one to another in Arangao, had spread like fire to Ahmednagar and to other places. Some even asked, "Is it true that Baba ran out of the samadhi and has gone away?" For 4 days, that beautiful fragrance was there, wafting all over the top of the hill, around over the top, around the back, and down to where the path has a flat part. The crowds kept coming each day, those fortunate ones, and all experienced it. Then, sometime on 9th August, in the same way that the fragrance had come, it was gone. It was on that day that Dr. Donkin died. This is from Lives of Love, Mansari. Judith Garbett, that is uh, the author of this book. It's a beautiful. We had heard about this story, uh, and Padri had his interpretation that when anybody is buried, then usually this happens that after after a few days that such a halo is created, and what is the process? In fact, that was not known to anybody, but then he had said it then that it is a usually it is a happening in the case of somebody buried after death. Especially fragrance is a very special incident of that particular of that whole story.
Mhm. So Donkin
And
passed away on the fourth day.
yes, donkey
Oh,
died the
okay.
past of and how he had come before, and then he had spent 2 hours with Mansari and was very in his good spirits. Everything is very surprising,
Yeah.
and definitely one feels that certain things which Baba wanted to do has been done there, and the fortunate ones have experienced it. It's a beautiful story. In fact, uh, I had that time I was in Mumbai, and this was conveyed to us, but then uh, it didn't strike much to our mind because that is what we felt that it may happen. But then it is something special that has happened, especially the fragrance. Believe me, even when we used to visit Baba, even when we used to Baba, we used to get that fragrance. You used to give that fragrance. Not only that, but abruptly, sometime in our private lives, we used to get that fragrance, and the fragrance which we used to get around Baba. Exactly that fragrance. In one of
हाँ,
my songs I had written that
आपकी खुशबू से. Yeah. Mhm.
उसमें the stanza is आपके तन की सुगंध आज भी आती है मुझे. The fragrance of your body is still comes to me. आपके तन की सुगंध आज भी आती है मुझे. आप मेरे पास हो विश्वास दिलाती है मुझे. You are close to me. That fragrance gives me an assurance that you are always with me.
Mhm.
फिर भी मन पे बोझ सा उठा रहा हूं मैं. In spite of this feeling, in spite of the feeling that you are always with me, you are accompanying me every moment. In spite of that, I carry so much of burden of my personal worries and this and that and all problems of life. I carry that burden on my head. This is something very strange of human beings. We are assured of Baba's help every time, but even then we keep on worrying. It's a nature of person. So this is about that samadhi, a very I mean important evidence that incident that we have read about. Now next thing I would like to tell something about Ramji Abdullah. It was on the same day in 1967, that just two years before Baba dropped his body, Ramju Bai passed away. That was in Satara. The surprising thing about this person, I have my own personal some other incidents, but I had never heard and thought and read about his previous life, early life. Lately, that has come to my hand, and then what I learned that when he was born at the age of 2 months, his mother died. When he was just 2 months old, his mother died, and he was brought up by his father and the paternal aunt. Now, that he should not get spoiled outside, mixing with other people and other boys. His father had kept him at home without admitting him to school up to 12 years. When he reached 12 years, up to 12 years, he was kept at home. And then at the age of 12, he was admitted to school. And that also not long for a long time. Thereafter, quite soon, he entered into business. They had a business of a cloth shop. And then in 1922, he came in Baba's contact. This person, Ramju Bhai, we used to call him Ramju Bhai, he used to have very anti thoughts about all non Mohammedans. He used to hate those who are not Mohammedans. He used to feed all the other people. May there be Hindus, may there be Christians, may there be any other giants on any other community. If they are not Mohammedans, he used to hate them. And he used to always feel that God should help them to come to the level of Mohammedans, to improve themselves. That was his thought and very strong thought. And when he came to Baba, when he saw Baba, he was so very impressed that he started visiting Baba often. In Manzili Meme also he has been visiting several times. Thereafter, at so many places, whenever there are some small trips and some visits to other places, he used to accompany Baba. What I am surprised of is that in spite of that, his condition of the education, he was so very good at English. My God, what a beautiful language he used to write. The first, when I was in high school, the first book which had come to my hands was Sobs and Throbs. And believe me, I, in between, I never took any other book, but I completed that book, a complete book I read. It was so very impressive and so very beautifully worded. This man could have such a beautiful writing of English. Not only that, but he was very good as regards the legal aspects are concerned. He has a lion's share in drafting the what you I mean our trust deed. Drafting the trust deed, he was very important personality. He had a lion's share. Once K.K. Ramakrishna had asked me. I had a personal uh, conversation with Ramju Bhai several times whenever we used to meet. In fact, during the sahavas programs, the senior people, Ramju Bhai and Khaksai, I don't remember Khaksai may not be there, but Ramju Bhai, they used to sit, particularly in the 1955 sahavas, they used to sit and thereafter in 1958 also, when the Pakistani poet Sahib Ashmi, when he had participated in that service. That time, Ramjubai was very closely moving with him on the instructions of Meher Baba. But then in the night time, they used to sit after everything is over, after the food is over, then uh, they used to, I mean, having a chat. The subject matter will also definitely about Baba and the spiritual life. And we young boys, we used to sit there very keenly listening to their talks. Ramju Bhai's nature was very firm and staunch. He was the staunch lover of Meher Baba. I remember he used to emphasize so much about implicit obedience. He had a very strong mind about obeying Baba. Whatever Baba says, whatever Baba tells you, you have to do accordingly. He was very firm about that, and whenever he had a very, what should I say, very a typical temperament in arguing. He was quite fair person, a rosy colored person, and when he used to argue, he will become more, that glow will be there on his face, and very staunchly, sternly, he will argue out his case. So that when Gani passed away, and we all in a very dejected mood, our hostel was, I was in the hostel, it was quite close to where Ganesh body was kept. That was near the railway station in the area, large spread out area of railway station. And we ran there. And Ramju was sitting with so many people were there, and we quietly went there and sat. And Ramju Bhai was talking about Dr. Gani and his relations with Baba and Baba's obedience. That time also the topic he was emphasizing was obedience to Baba. Ramju Bhai's Dr. Gani had four four daughters and one son, only one son. That is Dr. Gani I'm talking about. Now, Dr. Gani's first daughter, she was married to a family of Qazi family. That Qazi family was a very respectable family. There is a one district, one taluka place in another district, that's Akola, and that this family, Qazi family, was staying there in Akola, and the first daughter was given in that family. I'm sorry, she had no children, but she was a very respectable personality because all her in-laws and all these from her husband's family, they used to respect her very much. Her name was her name was Jahan Ara. Jahan Ara. Now, this was first daughter. She had no children, and during after her husband died, one of the sons of this Ramju Abdullah, he took care of her. She had a good property, but with that he took her care. And then another daughter was was married to Baggu. Baggu was the second son of Ramju Bhai. Baggu, second son of Ramju, he was in Mumbai, and he was quite a studied person. Quite a studied person. He was well read. In fact, he had very close contact with Adi Kirani, and whenever he used to give talks, a very deep thinking person, often used to come to Bombay Center and he used to talk. Whenever he comes, he will get to talk. He's a nice person, but especially he used to often come to the family house of Khilnanis. It was their houses were not in the same locality, but they were comparatively close to each other. Now, whenever there used to be, we had plenty of programs at Khilnanis, and invariably he will definitely come to the place, Khilnani's place. I had once visited his house in Baggu's house in Mumbai. Once he had told me, once he had told me that about the nature of his father. What he told me that he was, as a young boy, he was inquiring, raising so many queries about Baba's teaching, Baba's life, and Baba's style, and all that, Baba's divinity. And he was talking with his paternal aunt. in one room, and Ramju Bhai was in the other room, and he was listening to what this young boy, is asking his aunt, and from there he tells that his sister, who was explaining something about Baba, to answering to the queries of Bagu. Ramju Bhai says, by name, he says, tell him, tell him that you need not make all these inquiries. We have done all this for you. You have just to follow. We have we have made all the inquiries, all these questions you are raising before your aunt. We have taken the answers from Meher Baba. We have examined Meher Baba from all angles. So you do not make any further inquiries. You have to just accept, point blank, no compromise. That was the nature. So one of the daughter of Dr. Ghani was married to him, and next one daughter was married to Ali Ramju. Ali Ramju was, we know, and another daughter, another daughter, the fourth daughter was unmarried. Her name was Nur Jahan. She used to, after Ghani passed away, she used to keep in contact with Pune Center. She and her mother both used to visit Pune Center and attend the program for quite long time. And there is only one son, Hamid. So these were the family, and it looks, one can definitely, I mean, imagine that because because of Baba's putting his mind in the lives of these two families, Baba got the burden of marrying Ghani's daughters. He has reduced that burden by marrying those daughters to two sons of Ali Ramju. That 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 looks to be the arrangement in which Mir Baba must have been involved himself. In any event, Baba loved both the families so very dearly. Now Ramju Bhai had asthma, very bad asthma. He never used to sit quiet because every time he will just have that heavy breathing, have that heavy, and also that pumping. Once when we were sitting in Guruprasad, Baba was sitting on the cushion chair. Gamjubai was sitting just in front of him, but at a little distance, not very far, not very close, and not very far away. And there was a discussion. We were all sitting there, and there were discussion about some matters. Maybe certain matters, maybe about legal matters, about the trust matters. But some discussion was, very serious discussion was going on. And this Ramju Bhai was just breathing like this. Not a minutes, not a seconds rest. He's just breathing heavily, right, sitting in the front of the God man, dedicating his life for this in service of God man. He was having this trouble of heavy breathing, and Baba is looking at him. I still see that scenery. Baba is looking at him and said, Baba says to the people, look at this man, Ramju. He does so much of work for me. All the legal matters he is handling, but he has the trouble. If I mean, I can remove this trouble in a minute's time, but I don't do that. This suffering is for his betterment. This is Baba is explaining among the people. I was also one of the listeners to this, witness to this incident. So that was the relation in between, and that was a dedication. I am really, you will find surprise that person, all his thoughts which he was pursuing earlier against the non-Muslims, that are disappeared when he came in Baba's contact. What had made him to accept Baba so easily? A thought comes to my mind that when Baba was in this body, that divinity used to ooze out from his body, from his personality, and that used to make effect on the all the people who were coming in Baba's contact. And in fact, I feel that even Baba may not be conscious of that divinity which is oozing out of his personality, not deliberately. It is a natural process that divinity is coming out of his personal life, and that is making effect whoever comes in his contact. So all that thoughts, which anti thoughts, which Ramju was possessing in his mind, they all disappeared, and he had become a very broad thinking person. Now, one more thing which I would like to emphasize, that this happens, this conviction takes place when Baba has not been so much famous throughout the world. He had a limited places to visit, limited places to work. He has limited persons to follow. And all the people who are following him, they don't have any strange experiences or the miraculous experiences. In spite of that, they all follow him without any doubt. Is something very a matter to be studied clearly, matter to be understood. Today, when the name has reached far enough, and so many material has been coming out from Mir Baba's lifetime, people are have a good access to all these. But those were the times when nobody knew about Mir Baba, nobody had any any idea about what Mir Baba is. In that time, those people who have followed Mir Baba, they are very special people, I would say, very special people. And many were Mohammedans, many were Mohammedans. Dr. Gani, Khak Sahib, Ramju Bhai, Sayyid Sahib, Munshi Abdul Rahman, so many. And they were such strong followers, very strong and strong followers. You see, in itself, it is a spiritual experience, spiritual miracle, really. When the God-man comes down on this earth, his beautiful body is the first thing which attracts the people, allows the people, would attract the people. And thereafter, one comes in, gradually was closer and closer to him. One is entirely caught up in the net of his, or orbit of his love. It's a very beautiful process. And those who have experienced this process, they are really very fortunate ones. Sometime when K.K. Ramakrishna had some legal problem, he had asked me to ask it to Ramju Bhai. And I sent a letter to Ramju Bhai. He was in Satara. I sent a letter and I received immediately a reply. There was some query, legal query, and he has given a beautiful reply. What he had said, there was not. I mean, it's the problem was somewhat somewhat tricky problem. Either this or that. Any way it could be I mean interpreted. So one-sided thought, one-sided answer was not useful in that case. What Ramju had replied to me, he wrote to me that tell Ramakrishnan that had I been in his place, I would have taken such and such decision, leaving the matter to Ramakrishnan discretion there. Of course, that opinion which Ramju had given, he had not committed one-sided, he had not committed. But he has said that had I been in your place, I would have taken this decision in such a circumstance. That was Ramju Bhai. Today, let us salute the love and conviction of these people who are so very fortunate, I would say. There is no, and Ramju Bhai, it is one Dr. Jog, perhaps he must be attending to him. Ramju Bhai died out of a heart attack. But then he was very particular about repeating Baba's name. And for repetition, Baba's name, he had taken the beads. He was moving the fingers and Baba, Baba, Baba said that. And because he was losing the strength in his fingers, that 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 the garland, I mean that beads, they were falling down, and his fingers were only moving. Baba, Baba, Baba. His lips were moving and his fingers were moving. This was reported when Baba had sent Adi and Donkin to meet with the family of Ramju. And they were reported that he passed away taking Baba's name. What a fortunate people, what a fortunate people. With this, we salute to their love and conviction. And now,
Pratapji,
I will,
Baba.
sorry, yes, please.
Rosalie has a question, I suppose.
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead, Rosalie.
Pratap, I want to share something that I found, a letter from Baba to Dr. Ghani.
Yes.
It was in Lord Mayher, but it's not in the book. It's online, but it's so beautiful. Dr. Ghani had been complaining. He was helping with the publication of the Mayher Journal, and he was having problems, and he wrote a letter complaining to Baba.
Yes.
And Baba responded, "You always picture yourself as the downtrodden, favorite, forlorn, and forgotten lover of Baba. But the real state of affairs is quite the opposite. Baba knows, the world knows, at least the Mandali's world knows, that you are Baba's favorite disciple.
Yes.
His childhood friend, his lifelong companion. Your wit and humor touch his sense of humor as no one else's.
Yes.
You are to him what Chico, the jester, was to King Louis of France. Chico not only made the king laugh and forget his worries, but also fought his greatest fights for the king. Are you not fighting for Baba's cause through the journal? I just thought it was so beautiful. And then he says, Baba sends his love in the hope that you prove worthy of it by lifting your face to the sky and saying, I am Baba's man. I am Baba's friend. I must never ask. I must always lend. I must always rise. I must never bend. I must never call. I must always send. And then Baba left for a must trip. But he wrote this to Gani. It's so beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks.
So nice.
Yeah. Thanks, Rosalie, for sharing that.
Baba's words. Is that right, Rosalie?
Baba's words. Oh, yeah. And that was Baba's, I am Baba's. Yeah, it's all Baba's words. You will always picture yourself as downtrodden, unfavorite, forlorn, and forgotten lover. Yeah, that's all Baba's words. It's like, wow.
What's the date, honey? What's the date?
The date is 1941.
Wow.
You will only find it online because I checked the written volume, the paper book, and it's not in there. So they added it. It's June 14th, June 13th, 14th. It actually was Friday the 13th, but it's precious. You know, he was like a precious disciple.
Yeah.
Lord Mayhara.
Lord Mayhara, yeah.
You see, because of Dr. Ghani, you see, Dr. Ghani had a good liberty of asking questions, raising queries and asking questions. None other had that much liberty. And because of Dr. Ghani, so many, he could extract so much of truths about the spiritual life from Baba, and that had become beneficial to everyone present there. And of course, what you said is really, these are really very special people, I would say. There is no comparison to their fortune to be so close to Baba. In Manzil, Dr. Ghani used to praise Baba's feet. And what they used to do is they used to discuss on Sufism. Beautiful stories on Sufism. They are not ordinary people. Now just see the surprising fact that Ramju was not very much educated. At the age of 12, he started school education. And then he entered into the business. 1922, he contacted Meher Baba. So, what is that which has brought this transformation? Educational transformation in Ramju Bhai. It is Meher Baba. It is close contact with Meher Baba. And all that earlier thoughts, earlier grudges against the other community people that have been dissolved. And what use Baba has made of Ramju Bhai. See the drafting of trust deed. Great work. Can anybody imagine that such a legal document can be drafted by a person who is not that much educated? It's a very what miracle you want?
So, Pratapji, did Ramji Abdullah finish his degree in law? Did he do his degree in law? Bachelor of Law?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, he was the main person. He was the main person to make the this outline of that. He had worked a lot on that. He had worked on a lot on that. And if you go through his writings, now take for example, Sobs and Throbs. I had become mad after that book when I first read that. And then Ramju's diaries. Wonderful writing. Even a much educated person cannot have that sort of a fluency and that sort of a art in writing the English language, which is not our language.
Yeah.
Gani was educated person. Gani had acquired a degree of the homeopathy doctor, so he was educated person. Gani's writing also of that standard.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised about Ramju.
So Mahu also has a question.
This is not surprising. No? And really, they are selected people. And I always feel that those who have chosen to follow Meher Baba, that time when nobody was knowing Meher Baba, who is Meher Baba is, they are most fortunate people. After Baba's name spread throughout the world, people following is all right. That is another thing. But then, without knowing, without having come to a proper knowledge about this personality,
Yeah.
people have. It is a destined in their life.
Yep.
Mm.
So Mahu, go ahead. You have a question.
Yes.
And
Good evening,
Gani,
Mr. Pratap.
Gani,
Jay
sorry.
Baba, good to see you. Finally, I made it to your meeting. I have two comments,
Yes.
and could have question in between. The first one is about the story that you shared, called "Fragrance of the Hill." This is the most significant story. We've been reading it on and on and on ever since we knew about it. Um, my question is, well, just one comment. Dr. Duncan's love for Baba was immeasurable. I mean, the way I read about him and his life. And by the way, when he died, this is written in the book that Bob Mussman wrote. I forgot. The Slave
Yes.
of Love, something like that. I think.
The Slave of Love. Yeah.
The Slave of Love. Yeah, it's a very magnificent book. So they went. They went to his room when he died, and they noticed that he has not been taking his medication. He was suffering from heart issue for a day or two. So Baba's departure was very difficult for him, as it's described, based on the manuscript that left behind, and he just couldn't reconcile and come to terms that Baba has departed. So he wanted to go, and obviously it seems that Baba granted it, and that beautiful story is there when he visited his body on the crypt. My question is, what is your take on it? I know it might be a funny question, is that when Mansuri noticed that hollow, thing on his feet, Baba's feet, where people bow down to take darshan, or partially on his head, although they covered it with sheets so people don't take dirt with it, with themselves to just protecting, they were protecting. What is your take in terms of what happened? Is it that Baba got up and embraced Duncan, or I feel like maybe that was the case, and that's where the fragrance came from. Do you have any insight as to what happened? It's hard, I know. And if you don't like to share it, you don't have to.
really, I consider myself so very fortunate that I had come in a personal contact with all these great people. They are really very great people, and I always have so much of respect and love for them. Even Ramju Bhai, a very special person, very special person.
So Betty, you want to, Mahu
Yeah,
asked,
I have one more share about Ramju. I'll make it very short.
okay.
Ramju, Abdullah Ramju. Mr. Pratap Ahir, I'm reading the Subs and Trub with a group of Indian people on Zoom. Baba connected us together. This is my second time. We read it every Friday night. My time and morning, their time. I think the gift of writing in Abdullah Ramju is very special. I have not seen that style of writing. Of course, I am English is my second language, but even to me, it's like very scholarly. The word that he's using and how he's describing those events. And by the way, Baba came to Ramju, 1927. This is written in the beginning of the book, and it specifically asked him to write the account of Meher Ashram and particularly Ali. You know, there's a lot of focus in that book is about Ali, Ali and his role in just this whole 2 years of Baba's work. And Ramju wrote it because Baba asked him to, and I'm sure Baba has helped him in that. That was it. That's my comment.
Okay, thanks, Mahu.
We had the reading of that, the pleasure of reading that book aloud because Diane brought it to her. She was hosting book reading in the mornings, and we read Ramju's diaries, and then first I think we read more than once, then two sobs and throbs.
Right.
And unanimous vote, conclusion and expressed by everyone that his writing is so amazing, just beautiful. And now I hear Mahu shares with us that Baba suggested it, and he was uneducated prior to coming to Baba, so that's pretty neat. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Ralph.
Jai Baba.
Let's see what Betty has. Betty, Jai Baba.
Pratap, I remembered a story about Ramju that Baba wanted him to sell his shop, and he did not sell the shop, and every time he met anybody, I have not sold it.
Yes. Funny, very funny story. but then how they could obey Baba? Such all orders they used to obey.
I
Now,
missed Betty's story because she started laughing at the finish, at the conclusion. I didn't get what she said about
Betty,
him
you want to
selling his
repeat?
shop. He did not, and something the money.
Let's have Betty repeat again.
Baba said to Ramju, well, I'm looking at Lord Meher now. It said, April 1922, Baba talked to his Manzil, talked to the followers, the men, they should break connections with their families. And Ramju wanted to join. So Baba said, you must sell your shop.
Yes. No doubt about it.
He didn't. He couldn't.
What is more significant and important is that having born in a community which is very, what should I say, fanatics, very staunch about their thoughts and thought process and feeling and all that. And the amount of their faith in Baba, their conviction about Baba, is just marvelous. It's a miraculous thing. And when we can just it looks now there are other people also. Sayyid Sahib, this Sayyid Sahib, he was a special personality. Munshi Abdul Rahman. Munshi Abdul Rahman, he was working in some military supply department. And when once, because Baba's father was busy elsewhere, he had sent Mirwan for some inquiry with that office. And when this Mirwan went, this Munshi Abdul Rahman, who was a quite aged person, looking this boy, young boy, smart boy, he stands up with respect. Everything is so very strange. And all these people, Munshi Abdul Rahman, Sayyid Sahib, all these people were till their end, they were attached to Bhir Baba, very firmly attached to Bhir Baba. I would say it's a special class of people which Baba had selected. Come on, and Baba has made use of everyone in a different way, in whatever way he wanted. Yes.
We're not stopping here. Rosalie has one more question.
Yes, please.
Pratap, I want
Yes,
you
please.
I want you to say again, you told us before, what Baba said when Ghani passed in August during the New Life in 1951. What did he say about Ghani? What did Baba say?
Shall we take it next time, if you don't mind?
No, just in a word, tell me if I'm correct. Baba said it was the worst loss, losing Ghani of the New Life. It was the worst loss. No one could do what Ghani
Baba
did.
said there was much which Dr. Ghani could do for me. But Dr. Ghani and only Ghani could do for me. Now the whole thing falls upon me.
Wow.
This is what a appreciation, what a ovation that Baba has given to me, what a honor Baba has given to me. It is only Dr. Ghani could do for me. Now he is no more now, he has left. So that all that responsibility falls upon me.
Wow.
So one can imagine what Ghani could be sharing Baba's mission and work. One very, very significant thing I would say, that when Baba was entering this Manonash cave, there was a meeting, and they had some sort of a some prayers and something was to be done there. And in the meantime, Ghani passed away. And then, as a proxy, Baba asked Bagu, Ramju's second son, to appear on behalf of Dr. Ghani. See, everything is just beyond our understanding.
Beautiful. Thank you, Pratapji. Beautiful.
One keeps us thinking as to what honor this person must be having.
Yeah.
And what work Baba must be getting done from him. Wonderful, really, wonderful.
Thank you.
Chalo, now shall we take
Aarti? You want to do Aarti? You have time?
Aarti. We'll take Aarti and then
Which Aarti?
Yeah.
Yes.
which Bhau's Aarti will do.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes.
that'll be great.
Yes.
मानर से जिसकी उसकी दैवी से अनंत कैसे हो अनुमान आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन आओ मेरे प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु आरती अपनाओ प्रेम दीप में ही जलाओ प्रेम दीप में ही जलाओ निबिड़ अंधेरा मिटता पाओ निबिड़ अंधेरा मिटता पाओ अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें चढ़ाऊं अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें चढ़ाऊं तुम मुझको सिरताओ मेरे प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु आरती अपनाओ जीवन की हर सांस है हमारी जीवन की हर सांस है हमारी बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी हे करुणा कर लीलाधारी हे करुणा कर लीलाधारी तुम करुणा बरसाओ मेरे प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु आरती अपनाओ बने आरती जीवन मेरा बने आरती जीवन मेरा आदि अंत का लय हो घेरा आदि अंत का लय हो घेरा खोले नयन और दिखे सवेरा खोले नयन और दिखे सवेरा तुम मुझमें छा जाओ मेरे प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु आरती अपनाओ आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन ब्रह्म आओ मेरे प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु मारती अपनावो। Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Nice time.
Jai Baba.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pratap ji. Such
I
intimate and
should
loving
thank you.
stories.
I should thank all of you because I also get the opportunity to get involved in this thinking about Meher Baba and all the great people.
Yeah,
So very, so
Yeah.
very nice.
and we are glad that we are associated with you and everybody here. Thank you so much. Well, thanks very much. Let's all
Yeah.
take Baba's name 3 times. And
Yes,
Uh,
please. Yes, please.
Avatar,
Avatar
Meher
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 Baba
Baba
ki
ki
Hey,
jai.
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 Avatar,
Avatar
Meher
Meher
Baba
Meher
Baba
ki
Baba
ki
jai.
ki
jai.
Jai.
Avatar,
Jai.
Avatar
Avatar
Meher
Meher Baba
Baba
ki
ki
Baba ki
jai.
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 thank
Thank
you.
you, all of you.
Thank
Jai
Jai
you.
Thank
Baba.
you,
Baba.
Mr.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you,
Baba
Baba. Thank you,
Kudasha.
Pratap.
Baba.
Yeah,
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Baba. Jai
Jai
Baba.
Baba. Jai
Thank
Baba.
you for